Most of the time people think of crappies as being a real springtime fish. But you know what? It's midsummer, and there's a pretty good bite out here on some of these crappies right now. We're on some pretty high pressured water. This is just north of the Minneapolis area, and this lake gets a lot of pressure every day. But there's a lot of lakes like that that have good crappie fishing in them. So we're gonna show you exactly how to catch them when you're faced with that situation. Stay right where you're at. Fish Head's coming up. All suspended crappies on the screen right here. When they get like this, they get pretty easy to catch. There he is. Got him. Oh yeah, that guy's up pretty quick. We're not fishing very far down. We didn't have to wait very long to get this first fish. There are a lot of crappies out here where we're at today, and that's a good start right there. One of the things I'm gonna tell you is fishing these high pressured lakes and these metro style lakes. The first thing is that your quality of fish, you know, that 9 to 10 inch range is just a dynamite crappie, and that's a great eater right there. We'll throw him in the live well. And then, let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing and why we're doing it this way. You can look at the screen right now, and there are fish just absolutely piled up, all about 5 feet down. And what's going on here is these fish are suspending out over 10, 11, 12, 13 feet. And the reason they're doing that is they're up here feeding. And when they school up like this, and I mean, they are tight. There's tons of them, and it's all along this line, and they're tight bunches of fish. But what's going on is these fish are all up there eating, and they have their choice of bait because it's midsummer. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling crankbaits, and I'm doing that very deliberately because when you come past these fish with a crankbait, what you do is you trigger a reaction strike. Because if I just threw out the bobber or threw out the jig, the things that we were doing earlier this year, they don't have to eat that because there's so much bait. So that crankbait coming by them really gives them a reaction strike, something that they can jump at and go hit. Now this is a river rocker. This is a number 3 Lindy River Rocker. And what's so great about this lure is it's about the right size for them. And the other thing is these fish, I'm pulling right above them, and it's got this big wide profile. So when they're looking at it from underneath, and remember, crappies are very much a sight feeder. So when they're looking at it from underneath, they can see it, they can feel it, they can see it coming past them, and they can jump up and grab it. So it's a really easy tactic, and it's probably the easiest way to fish at this time of year because it's really hard to target that exact depth and put a jig right in front of them and get them to move. One last thing, all I'm doing here today is it's really, really simple. I'm just taking that thing, I'm using my spinning equipment. This is just my Lindy rig rod that I use for walleye fishing. I cast that thing out, I give it a couple pulls, and I know that I'm running probably 3-4 feet down. It's not a super big science. I'm just getting in that neighborhood, putting it in the rod holder, letting them go. And eventually that thing doubles over, and it actually happens pretty fast. That's gonna taste good tonight. We're gonna have a fish fry back at home. I don't know this. Oh yeah, this one might be all right as well. They'll get up on the surface like that. You just want to ski them right in here. Yep, that's another good dinner fish. Let's talk a little bit about the locations we're fishing because this is actually really, really easy. All I'm looking for in a bite like this is that last break line before it goes into the basin. And now these fish, a lot of people think crappies at this time of the year just go to the deepest water possible, and that's not always the case. What's going on right now is these fish have just kind of left those shorelines. They're not in those weeds right now. They've just slid out over the deeper open water. Now here, what I'm looking for is that last break before it goes into deep water, and they'll suspend right along that break because that's where a lot of the minnows are now. A lot of the minnows have left the shoreline now. They're getting a little bit bigger and they're looking for a little bit deeper water, a little bit cooler water, and that's what these crappies are keyed in on here. So what you want to look for is anywhere around the whole lake you're on, and this is a fairly decent sized metro type lake, but what you'll find out is when you get out here, you'll always find a pronounced break somewhere, and I'm just out past that pronounced break and those fish are sitting right up here. Right now, it so happens to be I'm in 11, 12 feet of water. Deepest stuff out here is about 14 feet, and this is that break into the hole that's out here. So keep that in mind. If you can find those areas, find those break lines, and remember, fish always relate in one way, shape, or form to break lines. You may find them in the basin for a little bit of the year, but they're gonna relate to break lines as much as they can because that is a natural area that holds bait. And any natural area that holds bait is gonna hold fish throughout the year. You can get these fish dialed in there. They're so much fun and they're easy to catch. You know, you can get the kids out and do this. It's a pretty simple deal. Look at that one. That's a real good one. A couple things though when you come out to do this. Number one, don't be afraid of flying around. I mean, I'm going 1.7, 1.8, sometimes even 2.0, and I get a lot of these fish when I'm making a slight turn. The other thing I want you to do is spend a lot of time changing colors, because crappies like this one are sight feeders. They go 100% on what they see up above them, and their color preference will change throughout the day, and this crappie might react to a color totally different than the crappie before him. So keep changing colors. I actually change them about every pass. If I do a pass and don't catch a fish, I flip to another color, and then I really go outside of the realm of, I don't make them all the same. You know, I may run pink one time, the next time through I might run a blue or a chrome like I've been doing today. And I've been pretty much able to keep up with the fish all day long. There's a lot of great bites coming up across the Midwest, and we're gonna keep chasing them on Fish Head. So keep checking back with us each week. I'm Jon Thelen. We'll catch you next time.